So, the use of and response to plant growth regulators. I think the first question when doing agronomy visits and you know, we were sort of trying to find out, learn about sites, and are you using a plant growth regulator? First question I'd say is, right, well, why are you using a plant growth regulator? I'm not saying you don't use one. Why are you using it? Why are you trying to use it? Is it to give you control of performance, AM to PM, more control throughout the course of the year? Are you using it because it's in a program? You know, find out what it's doing for you. If you're using it, then why are you using it? I think if you are using it, growing degree day, it is a good model, research model for applying trinexapac-ethyl, generally based on 200 GDDs, maybe down to 150. Much is going to depend on the influence of moisture and temperature. I think what we would say is if you're applying on a calendar schedule, it is going to lead to inconsistency. Certainly if you're going monthly application, no matter what rate that you're putting it on at. If you're going fortnightly by calendar, if you're not using GDD, then fortnightly is probably the better way of doing it. It gives you a greater chance of staying in regulation, but you're still going to get periods of inconsistency, and getting it back in might be a little bit of a challenge. So I think, again, we reiterate that application interval is more important than rate, and yeah, that's what you found as well. Yeah. You want to maintain regulation because you all want to avoid that sort of rebound, synthesizing quickly in a plant, certainly at times of warm temperature, if moisture is around as well. We saw that graph from July. It might be gone within the week, that 7-day period. Why have a question mark? The inclusion of nitrogen or not? Well, application rate would say apply nitrogen. You want to sort of offset any risk of discoloration or any stress applied. You want to maintain good agronomic health and make sure it's not, plant's not under stress from soil moisture, certainly. But I think what we're saying is don't use trinexapac-ethyl as a tool to put unnecessary nitrogen on. You know, you're trying to sort of apply some brakes and then putting some gas into the tank. So understand what your trinexapac's doing, understand what your nutrient is doing. Maybe you can apply reduced rates of nitrogen with trinexapac, or no nitrogen at all. Experiment maybe, you know, with some seaweed, with some iron, and see what's working for you. But again, be aware of what moisture is doing in terms of plant health around that period. So certainly in terms of research, yeah, I suppose, you know, did this, the PGR debate, does PGR promote organic matter? There's no research out there to say it does. Maybe additional nitrogen or unnecessary nitrogen with it would do, for sure. If you put more nitrogen on than you need to, chances are you will build more organic matter. So be aware what the two are doing. Before we get into questions, I suppose what we're saying in summary, measuring the growth yield or clip yield to control and refine the growth and optimize the performance and aesthetics. The art of greenkeeping is going to allow you to respond to these variances. There is no guaranteed model or program for applying nitrogen. Not through soil analysis. Leaf tissue analysis, again, a little bit retrospective, but you can see what's going on, but laborious, and you need lots of it and quite expensive. So your eyes will tell you. You don't necessarily need a meter and light meter on it. Your eyes and what's going off in the boxes will tell you what's going on. Program, what do we mean by program? Programs, fertiliser programs are there for guidelines. So much changes throughout the course of the year periods in terms of freely available nitrogen, and 50% of the nitrogen available or the grass plant will need, it will be freely available in soil solutions through mineralisation. So Our aim is not necessarily reduce the nitrogen, it's understand what's freely available, how it's been used, but use fertiliser then to fill in the blanks. And you know, we're not trying to optimise, we're not trying to grow crops out there. You're probably only going to grow 20% of the growth potential of your crop, certainly with annual meadowgrass. Otherwise you're going to lose control of performance if you've just got growth out of control. So it's quite interesting, but actually say you only want to, sort of 20% of it is probably what you want. It's a fine balance. In essence, monitoring clip yield will help you more accurately understand what's going on, times of year, day-to-day changes, taken in conjunction with your soil moisture measurements, temperature, your cultural changes. It'll put you in the best possible position to drive forward your decision-making process for fertiliser use. So you're all doing it anyway. You're all asking how much are we taking off the greens today. Just a case of being disciplined, getting a standard operating procedure in place. And I mean, to the lads on the ground, how much additional time is it for them?
Not a lot at all. A couple of minutes each green to put buckets in, they bring back in, it's not a lot.
And you're doing 2 greens?
We're doing 2 greens.
Daily?
It does, you know, you do 18, don't you?
18 greens. Bedford and County, we're doing one green. So, I mean,
measure, we don't weigh, it's just measure.
Just measure, yeah. So again, it seems to be the more practical approach. In research, it would be by weight. But yeah, the more practical approach is measured by volume.